Hi everyone, welcome to the Motorgraph World channel. This is Mari. Today I'm here with the facelifted Kia EV6. Let's take a look at the overall designs as well as what has changed in the inside. So the first that you will notice are these headlamps and the daylight running lamps, how they have created kind of like a V shape, a much more aggressive and naughty look to the overall car. Before, if you compare it with the first generation model, you will find that the face of the new facelifted EV6 is a bit more aggressive, and I would like to say it's a bit more naughtier than before. Also, it comes down all the way to the bottom of the bumper where they have added the same color as the body color so that it also has this kind of unified look from the top of the car to the bottom of the car as well. Those who know me probably know that I prefer the EV6 design compared to the Ioniq 5. And I think that they have added this kind of character to the car to make it look a bit more faster, a bit more presence on the road as well. So now we've popped open the hood and you can see that it's a veritable EV. They have increased the capacity of the car as well as added to the range of the total vehicle. So before you had the two options of 58 kilowatt hours and 77 kilowatt hours. Now it has been upped to 84 kilowatt hours. So even with one charge, somewhere in Korea, that would be enough to have a whole tour of the country. And of course, these are official Korean range as well as the specifications. So now I will open up the frunk, but I had to laugh because it's not so much of a storage space. Maybe little cables and smaller goods that you want to store inside. I think the cables will be the right fit for it. I think that it's also a trend in the car industry where the design of the back tail lamps all kind of are connected and you have these horizontal lines going through the car that is a much more of a harmonious and unified design. The bumper is also in connection with the front face. You have that connection with the body part coming down to the bottom bumper. If you just look at the black parts, it kind of looks like a spoiler that is lifted and in action, giving the car overall a much more sportier look. For display purposes, they have attached one of the V2L connectors onto the car. If you have such a connector, and you'll be able to power your plants or a hairdryer or any other electronic device as such. As you can see, it has quite a deep trunk because of the overall fly line at the back. However, it's very easy to get in, as you can see, and it has a very flat surface once you do get in. However, for the height, as you can see, there is a huge slant for the fly line, so you won't be able to stack a lot of luggage up. The bottom compartment isn't spacious. If you do open it up, you'll have a little bit of room inside, maybe about 15 centimeters deep, but not so much more. You see these kinds of details that signal that this is the GT line. You have certain elements, especially with the bottom lip of the car, that actually signifies that it's a bit more aggressive, a bit more powerful. So now I'm inside the driver's seat, and there have been some details that have changed for the interior of the car. The overall structure has remained the same except for certain details. If you see from inside, they have tried to maintain a certain design aesthetic. The overall panoramic screen for the steering wheel, they do have a specific steering wheel design that is made for this car. They put the Kia logo and emblem on the side rather than the center. I think that these are certain details and elements that they're trying to change for the facelift. This one has a two-tone with a darker gray and a lighter gray. The steering wheel is quite soft and it's malleable. You can actually play around with it. It's quite comfortable. One positive aspect, I think, of the new design, and it's not a complete round steering wheel. So for smaller drivers like me, you'll be able to see the outer corners of the screen in front of you. Before, if I had adjusted my seat position and the steering wheel, the corners would be cut off. However, here, even with the design, they have angled all of their elements so that they don't have something on the outer corners. It's actually filled within this frame. So it's a bit more of a convenient factor for drivers. I guess some minimal, small aspects that you do notice from the first generation to the next generation. They've added this outer exterior to the screen. It's slightly rounded and there are certain angles. But apart from that, they've added this structure so that it's not just the screen. As for the ambient lighting as well, you don't see a huge difference. However, before, if the ambient light was really barely there, you do see certain lines that they have highlighted on the center console, as well as underneath the HVAC and on the door trim. And of course, you can adjust the colors of these ambient lights. And for the telescopic steering wheel, it's electronic now. You don't have to actually pull a lever to adjust the handle. And this is also a digital room mirror. I think you see more and more of these in Hyundai and Kia cars these days. What I do like and appreciate is that they've experimented with lots of different materials inside the car. I immediately liked the center console material that they have applied. This is kind of like a hairbrushed finish, but it's not steel, so it's plastic. However, you have these hairline designs going all the way through. I like this much better than the black gloss because the black gloss completely leaves you with a lot of your fingerprints as well as the dust. This one, it's quite of a matte finishing, and it's also quite sophisticated just by looking at it. Also, with the top of the part here, it's not just plastic or just one material. They have added kind of like a fabric-y type of finish to it. So if you just look at it, it seems that they've actually thought more about what materials to use inside. The seats are quite thin in terms of the overall thickness of the seats. That, I think, is related to weight management of the car as well as room inside. But considering that the seat itself is quite slim, you do get a lot of support. It's one of those types that are more rigid than soft. My only small concern, if you look at the center console, the compartment here, and if you open it up, it doesn't have anything to latch onto it. It's okay now because we're at a standstill, it's parked. However, think about what might happen when you're driving at faster speeds. This will start rattling, I think, because even now it's actually shaking. And when you go off-road, I don't know how many times you'll go off-road, but still this will move around a lot, at least like this. So it does have this little area where I think the latch should go in, but it doesn't have anything to hold on to it. So I'm nitpicking, but still. There were certain elements of EVs before in other models, especially volume cars, that you felt they really did not spend a lot of time or effort or money into this aspect, or they really tried to cut costs with this kind of element. However, for the facelifted version of the EV6, you can actually see that some of the materials used, I don't know the exact cost or the production cost of it. However, it seems as if they have added on benefits or the premiumness of the interior, trying to match it with its ICE equivalent models. They have added certain measures to add more comfort to the passenger seats. They've made the seats a little bit more comfortable with more cushion. I feel that on the bottom part, in the seating area, for me, like a small girl with 162 centimeters, I mean, I have plenty of leg room. Maybe for the headroom, for me, I think it's okay. For taller people, it could be a little bit crowded inside. And also the material that I liked in the center console has also been applied to the door trim, adding that consistency. For the Ioniq 5, you also have this center console. And there's nothing here. Maybe they could have made use of this as well. You also do have the V2L that you can actually make use of. If you need to work on your way somewhere, then you can actually plug in your electronic devices. So we took a first look at the facelifted Kia EV6 and the EV6 GT line. Please do tell us your comments down below. For further details, we'll take a look during our test drive. And with that, I'll see you next time.